Hello everyone, this is Mars. I wanted to show off today a bound volume I have of Monster World. This is a magazine from Jim Warren, Forey Ackerman, companion to Famous Monsters back in the mid-60s. Here I've got the complete run. It's all 10 issues, and I've had them bound into a bound volume. And I got this back a couple months ago, and I figured I'd show it off. Here's the front. This is custom made. There's only one like it in the world. The spine. On the back, which is a collage of some of the art from some of the covers on the inside. Let's take a look inside. This is issue 1. There are 10 issues of Monster World. It was kind of supplemented Famous Monsters. I think it and Famous Monsters were published bi-monthly. Every other month you got an issue of Famous Monsters and an issue of Monster World. It ran for 10 issues in the mid-60s and then was canceled. And later on, it was incorporated into the run of Famous Monsters. So if you're a Famous Monsters collector like I am, you'll know that there is no issue 70 of Famous Monsters. It goes from issue 69 and then jumps to 80. And editor Forey Ackerman decided to insert the 10 issues of Monster World from 70 to 79. So those are your 10 issues of Famous Monsters. I guess it was to get to 100 that much quicker. I'm not sure. But it's a lot of great old photographs. This is the stuff I grew up on as a kid, growing up in the mid-70s. I love comics, of course, but old monster movies were my favorite. And I would always, when I went to the newsstand, a corner market, a grocery store, to get my comics, Warren magazines were always number one on my list. Famous Monsters, creepy, eerie. I couldn't get Vampirella. My mother drew a line to Vampirella. Horror was fine, but sex and horror was too much. So, but I would usually opt for a Warren magazine ahead of anything from DC or Marvel. So if there's no Warrens, then I would go to DC or Marvel. No DC or Marvel, Charlton. No Charlton, and maybe pick up a Harvey or something. But you see they had there's some nice artwork in here. There's some comic strips. They adapted some films, and I think the success of these adaptations eventually led to the publication of Creepy magazine. Some pictures of Godzilla. Godzilla, which is the thing. Let's see, I hope to eventually get most of my magazines bound like this. I've been binding my comics and magazines. That's something I've been doing off and on for 25 years. And I purge and I sell them. I get out of the hobby and I get back in. So here's an ad for Creepy #1 with some great Frazetta artwork. This is actually Frazetta's last interior art. It was in Creepy 1. That's a classic issue of a magazine there. Dark Horse is, of course, publishing the Creepy Archives, but I hope to eventually to get my run of Creepy bound too, because I like having the magazines. One thing I love is having all the original ads. As a kid, I used to pore over these and just, lust of all the stuff you wanted. I mean, who didn't want a live monkey? I did. I still do. I've got kids now, though. Same thing. So the old Super 8s. Great Don Post mess. Covers are terrific. There's not any Basil Gogos covers, I don't believe, in Monster World. But there's some fine work here, I think, by all the photos. And Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, that's a good movie, good Amicus film. I believe this is Revenge of the Zombies. Yeah, Revenge of the Zombies. You can find this on YouTube. It's really cool now. Being an adult, all these films that we would have killed for as a kid to see, now show up for free on YouTube. This one you can watch on YouTube. And these magazines, Famous Monsters and Monster World and Monsters of the Movies and other magazines, like, they were so important to us kids in the 70s, 60s, and 70s because this is, of course, before VCRs or DVDs or cable. And I didn't know if I'd ever get to see these movies. So these photographs were like, a portal to a different world. Oh man, I'd love to see these movies one day. And I used to imagine that one day, if I was rich, I'd have a film library. I could see all these films. Now, of course, you can do it. It was inconceivable back in the day. Fan mail. The Monster Quiz. There's Blazing Combat. That's another great magazine. There's only 4 issues of that, but that's a really good war magazine. Warren magazines are just terrific. I love Warren. And here we have the back issue ads. I would spend hours. This is a smaller one, but in the 70s, they would fill up the whole page at postage-size stamps, pictures, and they would just lust over them, Like, oh, I need this issue, I need this issue. I want to see that movie, I want to see that movie. That's the way I spent many of my Saturday afternoons going through my magazines and my comics. Battle of Rathbone. Florence Marley, Queen of Blood, Son of Frankenstein. Bela Lugosi as Igor. I said the ads are a lot of the charm. These things, of course, are worth a small fortune now, if you have them. These are Aurora kits. And there's that live monkey. Big Frankie. S.G. James meets Frankenstein's monster and Billy the Kid versus Dracula. These two used to show up on Channel 11 in the 70s quite a bit, and Channel 30. Dr. X. Let's see, here's a little clip from Frankenstein monster coming back to life and strangling Dr. Waldman. Again, this is the only way to see these scenes, back then was through photos. The Day the World Ended, good old Roger Corman film. It's creepy. It's great for Zeta covers. Okay. Cover. Behind the 8 Ball, there's the Addams Family. And here we have Fumetti style strip of horror of Dracula. You can relive the film. Warren eventually would publish a one-shot with Horror Dracula and Curse of Frankenstein with these photos with captions. That's pretty cheap. You can get those on eBay pretty cheap. Horror Dracula, for my money, the best Dracula movie. Christopher Lee is the definitive Dracula. We all recognize that guy. There's Monster World back issues. I have them all. The Reptile. I believe this is the final issue. This is issue 10. Batman TV show. More ads. That's it. And that is my Monster World. 1 through 10. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I will soon be sharing more about volumes and more of my comics and magazines. Thanks.